Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us because we are unpacking some literally game-changing updates from the Infinity Rising universe. Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at a massive, fundamental shift in how games operate, moving away from closed, restrictive ecosystems and right into what they're calling a dual frontier of ownership. So what does that actually mean? Well, the Infinity Rising team just dropped dual announcements that effectively hand you, the community, the keys to the kingdom.
I mean, just look at this incredible sci-fi aesthetic. It totally captures the immense scale of the Infinity Rising universe. But what's happening behind the scenes is honestly even bigger. The developers have laid out a clear mission: transition true ownership back to the community. We aren't just talking about playing a game anymore. We're talking about two very distinct frontiers of ownership. One is on the macro level, literally owning a piece of the studio building the game. And the other is on the micro level, which is owning the actual digital items you use inside that universe.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, owning the studio itself. Second, understanding the crowd safe. Third, true in-game asset ownership. And finally, the Infinity Wallet demystified. We're going to logically cover both the regulated financial investment side and the Web3 player experience side. All right, jumping right into Section 1, owning the studio itself through the Republic.com public equity raise. You know, whatever you're dealing with financial investments, trust and scale are absolutely everything, right? Infinity Rising has chosen to launch their public equity raise through Republic.com. And Republic isn't some small unknown entity. They are a fully regulated investment platform that has successfully deployed a staggering $2.6 billion in capital. To put that into perspective, they boast 3 million community members, have supported over 3,000 raises, and back 27 portfolio unicorns. They even handled the public equity raise for Skybound Entertainment, the powerhouse behind The Walking Dead and Invincible. So yeah, this is a highly established, very serious platform. Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast in investment requirements depending on where you live. For U.S. investors, because of SEC rules, you've got to be accredited. That generally means having an annual income of over $200,000 or $300,000 jointly for the past 2 years, or a net worth of over $1 million, excluding your primary residence. Republic will verify all of that for you, along with a few other qualifiers. But look at the international side. For investors outside the U.S., this is open in most countries without any accreditation requirement at all, subject to your local laws, of course. There are a few known exclusions, like Ontario and British Columbia in Canada, and OFAC-sanctioned jurisdictions, but overall, it's a massive global opportunity. And hey, if you're unsure, the developers suggest just creating an account anyway, because the KYC and verification happens seamlessly right inside Republic. Moving on to Section 2, understanding the crowd safe. What exactly are you buying? Okay, so when you invest through Republic, you're receiving what's called a crowd safe. Basically, this is a specific type of security that will eventually convert into actual equity, meaning real shares, in the studio behind Infinity Rising. This conversion triggers when there's a qualifying future financing or liquidity event. It's a standard institutional mechanism designed to give you a very real ownership stake in the company. But let me be incredibly clear about what a crowd safe is absolutely not. Because we're dealing with a video game here, it is super easy to confuse the two sides of this ecosystem. A crowd safe is an SEC-regulated security. It is not a cryptocurrency token, it is not a cosmetic skin for your character, and it is not an in-game asset. You are investing in the actual corporate entity building the game. Let's break down the financial terms and those valuation tiers because early momentum really matters here. You can get involved with a minimum investment of just $250 using everything from bank wires and ACH to credit cards and even USDC. But here is the critical part. The first $250,000 invested is offered at a discounted company valuation of $17.5 million. Once that tier fills up, the next $1.25 million comes in at a $20 million valuation. This perfectly illustrates why jumping in early is a game changer. When a round builds momentum early on Republic, it gets surfaced to their massive investor base. Suddenly, investors who have never even heard of Infinity Rising are discovering it, jumping in and turning into long-term backers and players. So if you want to participate, here is your game plan. The team explicitly advises doing these 3 things today before the launch. Step 1, create a free account at Republic.com. Step 2, complete your identity verification. Seriously, do not skip this. It can take anywhere from a few hours to a couple of days, so don't wait until launch day. And step 3, link your funding source. You want to be ready to invest calmly in minutes rather than panicking when the deal goes live. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 3, true in-game asset ownership, and the coming home build. We've covered the macro studio equity side. Now, let's step right inside the game itself and ask, what exactly is a player-owned asset, or POA?
Think about traditional gaming for a second. You spend hours, maybe weeks, grinding for gear, or you buy premium items, but those items exist purely on the developer's servers. If your account gets banned or the server shut down, boom, your items disappear. All those late nights grinding for epic loot? Gone in a flash. You never really owned them. Infinity Rising is completely flipping the script. A POA is a digital item that you genuinely own because it's recorded on the blockchain. Your ownership is permanent, and it's totally verifiable. We're talking about in-game apartments, land plots, vehicles, premium weapons, gear, mounts, and limited edition collectibles.
And because POAs are actual, verifiable assets, they carry tremendous real-world utility. First and foremost, you use them in-game with full mechanical effect, meaning they actually impact your stats, your performance, and your abilities. It's not just cosmetic. Second, you can simply hold them as collectibles, beautifully displayed in your account with all their specific rarity details. Or, and this is the big one, you have the absolute freedom to trade or sell them on secondary marketplaces, completely free of any restrictive terms of service. It's your property, you do with it what you want. Which perfectly sets up Section 4, the Infinity Wallet demystified as a zero-barrier bridge. The newly announced Infinity Wallet is the absolute critical step for steadily onboarding players into the upcoming Coming Home build. Think of it as a seamless bridge. It's specifically built for traditional gamers, so absolutely no blockchain experience is needed. We're talking zero barriers to entry here, no complicated seed phrases to write down on a piece of paper, no third-party apps to install. The whole thing is tied directly to your player account, letting you view and use all your assets in one place. You can even buy digital assets directly with a regular old credit card. And for those who do want to trade, it allows you to seamlessly transact on upcoming secondary marketplaces on both the base chain and Cardano.
So, the crucial point is understanding exactly what this wallet is not. It's built for one very specific job, managing your Infinity Rising assets. It is absolutely not a general-purpose crypto wallet. It won't display outside digital assets, and it's certainly not meant to replace your MetaMask or Lace wallets. Because it's strictly account-bound, it cannot be imported into a third-party wallet provider. And listen to this is a vital warning from the developers. Do not send non-Infinity Rising digital assets to your Infinity Wallet. Any outside assets sent here will be permanently lost. Consider yourselves warned.
Getting started is honestly a breeze. All you do is log into your player account. You'll get a prompt to create your wallet with just a single button click. That's it. No extra setup required, and your assets will just populate right there in the Game Assets tab. Now, if you're a power user and you want to send your Infinity Rising POAs to other external wallets, they've safely gated that functionality behind an opt-in toggle. Just head into your settings and enable Advanced View. That unlocks sending capabilities, lets you view your wallet addresses, and shows other blockchain-related order info. Wow, okay, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground today unpacking the two massive pillars of Infinity Rising strategy. From actually acquiring SEC-regulated equity in the studio through Republic.com to owning your in-game apartments and weapons via the zero-barrier Infinity Wallet, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. How will true ownership, whether of a studio or a digital spaceship, fundamentally reshape your place in the new gaming economy? The paradigm is shifting right before our eyes, and the tools are literally in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.